Hey, I'm Candice Amori, founder of Climate Vine, and I'm going to do a slightly deeper FAQ on what Climate Vine is, why we're doing this next cohort, what happens inside of it, and finally, who's a really good fit. So stick with me, play this on 2x speed if you want, but I'm again going to try to go kind of deep in terms of answering some of the questions that you might have. So, high level, right now the grid is experiencing increased energy demand. Utilities and businesses are rethinking grid reliability and grid resilience, and federal incentives and support are waning. And so, like Nelson Yip, one of the members in the upcoming cohort, said, I think really poignantly, we're entering a pivotal chapter in the energy transition, and navigating it requires new connections, deeper insights, and real world collaboration. So I feel this noisy moment, and I feel a concern that we might be backtracking when it comes to climate. But I'm also really inspired by the people that are working in this space and the opportunities that if we can really squint and start spotting them and working on them really early, especially those cross-sector plays, I think the better off we'll be in keeping up that momentum and actually, you know, speeding up that momentum in a way that we really need to. And so that is why I built Climate Vine and why I'm so passionate and so committed to the work that we do. The highest level, Climate Vine is your personal climate accelerator. So what I mean by that is that it's meant to take the impact that you are trying to make and fast track that by surfacing less obvious opportunities, by pressure testing those opportunities with people that are looking at the problems from different complementary angles, and then also helping you build professional friendships. So people that you can, call to sanity check a financing structure or, who can help you find a utility VP who's already solved your problem or is working through it right now. And the larger mission is that if we can help enough people who have enough decision-making power, who have enough expertise, who have enough integrity and are working in climate to accelerate their individual impact, then we're able to accelerate the collective transition, the collective impact that we're able to make for a more sustainable future for all. So I think about Climate Vine visually as this bridge in Brazil, where we have these circles that to me represent siloed experts who are working on, great, deep, hard problems, but not really taking in perspectives that would be helpful to them. And I think of Climate Vine as the bridge that is trying to help to de-silo some of these great people who are working on similar problems and to sort of streamline and accelerate the work that they're doing and help them collaborate with each other. So our priorities in the way that we've built Climate Vine is to one, be very personalized. And so that means we personalize the higher level content and programming based on who's in the cohort and what you all want. We also personalize what we recommend that you do personally as part of the cohort to make sure that you get the most out of this. We're really focused on you getting the relevant information and taking the relevant action. Secondly, I'm focused on helping you stay ahead of the curve, right? And so, how do you get a shortcut to the right knowledge, a shortcut to the right opportunities, a shortcut to the right people that can help you with those opportunities? And how do you get into real tangible outcomes, right? I don't want this to be the place where you come to talk about things. I really do want this to be the place where you come and you're able to build things with other people, surface things that wouldn't be possible to surface otherwise, build those relationships that wouldn't be possible to build otherwise as well. The way that we do this inside the Vine is through 6 pieces of core programming, and I'll go through each one of these one by one. But first, the logistics for this next cohort. It's a 10-week cohort from August 17th to October 20th. You'll get 4 months of extra platform access until February 20th, and I would recommend an hour and a half to 2 hours a week for the first 10 weeks. So in the beginning, there's an onboarding where you meet the team, you understand expectations, you rapidly meet a few of the other members. You finalize your North Star goal, which again is what we're going to focus on for that 10 weeks. And we help you get familiar with the platform, with the CRM, with who else to meet, but also with how to make the most of Climate Vine. The general weekly cadence is to have one at least expert deep dive a week. That'll take place between Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern or 9 to 10 a.m. Pacific time. Here's a small sampling of the speakers that we have so far. And so we have more in the document and more coming through all the time. But right now, we have Jigar Shah who can talk to federal capital flows, this higher level moment. I love that his LinkedIn says podcaster, so I kept it in there, but he can speak to a lot. And again, we'll drill in on some of those opportunity spaces. Andy Bachman on resilient grids, on cybersecurity. Shannon Brexton on interconnection, Lorenzo on how do you build community energy from the ground up, and then Astrid and Andrew on, starting their companies, the opportunities that they see and saw, and any other insights they have there. And so we'll do a 45-minute interview where we really go deep, right? This is not like a high level conversation. This is let's go deep on the most important topics to talk about at this moment. And then we'll open it up for audience Q&A at the end. So you'll be able to actually come up and ask your questions that are highest voted by the group to these speakers. I'll do weekly hand-selected one-on-ones that are async. And so this is where I look at your background, I look at the challenges that you're working through, I look at your expertise, I look at, how many kids you have and try to hand select other people that you should meet that week or during the cohort generally. And so again, I focus mostly on the professional, but I'm really looking at you all as whole humans, or all the members as whole humans, trying to understand who should connect with other people at this moment. And then we have a peer group mastermind. And so these are hand-selected small groups based on career stage, based on backgrounds. And so, for example, investor and philanthropic groups might be, examples of different groups that we'll have. They'll be member-led and train masterminds. So we'll have someone come in and really train you on how to run a mastermind as a group. We require that if you opt into this, right, all of this is opt-in, that you commit to 60-minute meetings for the first 4 weeks. And these meetings will be at a time that you can make. And so we'll work with you and others in the group to make sure that that's true. And really, this is often a highlight of our members' experiences. It can last for years, and there are many that have lasted for years. So that's the peer mastermind group where you really come in with your challenges at your career stage, have a group of people that can be helpful. It's all Chatham House rules. Most things in Climate Vine are off the record anyway. And this again is a powerful group. Um, that's an option. And so the other option is tailored working groups. And again, that's a smaller group hand selected by me, but this is more based on challenges. And so let's say we look at, someone who's working on grid resilience at a utility, and they have this one specific challenge on when does it make sense, or how do you figure out net present value for when it makes sense to do some sort of like expensive grid infrastructure update, right? That's one very niche working group, and there are going to be a lot of different working groups, but even within that one, we'll want to get more specific on some of the examples and the outcomes and, what we're working on in that group. I'll be leading all of them. They'll be at various times that again are selected by the people that are the right fit for that working group. We'll be focused on a challenge. We'll have different people with different perspectives looking at that similar challenge. So in that one, we might have finance people, utility people, grid infrastructure people, engineers, right? Like a good group of people, interconnection people, who are working on that. And it might be a 1-2 hour sprint. It might be, something that we do weekly for 5 weeks. It's really going to vary based on the challenge, based on the group, and based on the outcome that we're building toward. An example of some of the people that might be in some of these groups because they're already committed to this next cohort are some of these folks. And so I think we have a couple dozen people. And the idea behind, making sure that you know who else has already committed so far is to get a sense for diversity of people, diversity of expertise, and where they come from, what they're focused on. So we have equity, we have utility, we have green banks, we have corporate energy, we have research groups, we have people who used to be at the government level. Really runs the gamut. The last offering, which is more ad hoc, is the member network CRM that's always available in the platform. There's virtual and in-person socials as well. And so those are happening alongside some of those more weekly programming offerings. To give you a sense of the member CRM, we, in the onboarding, will ask everyone questions about their climate expertise, their interest areas, or career expertise and interest areas, and current goals, current time availability, where they live, what state, all of those things to help you all actually meet each other and be able to search for each other. So one example search is who has climate expertise in energy distribution and grid integration. And then this more specific one is who has that plus policy, regulation, and government's expertise. And so you can get really granular in looking for different types of people. And pictures of in-person events, pictures of chocolate that we've had. And then one last note on time before we get into some of the last aspects of this. But I would recommend putting aside an hour and a half to 2 hours a week for the 10-week cohort to make the most of it. And time spent here is really meant to complement or accelerate the work that you're doing outside of here. So these should be one-on-ones that you want to have anyway. And Climate Vine helps streamline you having those one-on-ones, right? These should be conversations, challenges that you're working through anyway. and not feel like an extracurricular, but really feel like you're making progress in the work that you're focused on through Climate Vine. So my ask to everyone is to prioritize the lead meetings that are most relevant to you and to your goal, to communicate with me and the team about things that you can't join, but you want to. And also to know that, again, everything's Chatham House rules. Everything, a lot of things are going to be off the record. When we can record, expert deep dives, we'll do that for sure and share those. But even if we can't, we'll share summaries when possible, right? Of what happened in small groups, working groups, what happened in some of these conversations so that you can still get all of the value if you can't make it, or most of the value, let's say, if you can't make it live. So when it comes to outcomes, one is a curated synthesis of fresh opportunities across grid infrastructure and clean energy. So that could be new funding streams, that could be emerging tech niches, that could be policy windows, right? Hopefully. It'll also be a personal action plan that comes out of your mastermind or working group, right? Those sort of tangible action plans. And then at a minimum, right? I imagine it's going to be more, but at least three high level leverage connections, relationships who can really unlock things for you. And so the whole cohort is meant to be non-transactional, really like relationship forward. And I believe that, everyone will come out of it with at least three of those sort of professional friendships, people that you can call on. We've been doing this for 4+ years and we've had 1,100 past members, and these numbers are probably too low, but many of them have gone on to raise hundreds of millions of dollars. They've landed high impact roles as they've shifted in their careers and really, again, accelerated their climate impact, launched dozens of startups as well, which again isn't the core of this group, but really is, I guess, a testament to some of the tangible outcomes that can come out of this. And there have been a ton of testimonials from VC partners to DOE advisors who have called this their cornerstone network, their unfair advantage. So the members that we're looking for, seasoned professionals across a lot of different spaces, but having clear specializations within that. They're committed to making a positive impact with a demonstrated bias for action. So they, have done good work and have initiated good work, and they're givers. And so when everyone is looking to contribute 2 times more than they hope to receive, then everyone receives, a ton more than they can expect. And so those are the types of members that we're really looking for, again, mid to senior level professionals across these spaces with clear specializations. The application process is one, an application online. It takes about 10 minutes. Two, if you meet that criteria, we'll follow up with you, eventually get an acceptance letter if you are one of the accepted members. We'll go through onboarding. And a note that in the past, we've had about a 14% acceptance rate. We can expect probably something similar for this one as well, but please apply if you're interested, if you at all, think you might be a fit, and we'll take a look. We really like diversity. We really like of expertise, diversity of all sorts. Um, and so don't be shy in applying. The membership fee and logistics are a 1990 one-time payment. That's early bird. If you apply before July 25th, if you apply after, it's 24.90. We have payment plans available. We have limited need-based scholarships so that, again, we can bring in people with different perspectives based on where they're at. And given the moment, we're essentially sponsoring or offering pretty generous sliding scale for federal employees, current or recent as well. So Rapid FAQ, is this an incubator? No, it's not. It's again that like personal impact accelerator. You're in deep tech, R&D, you're in public sector. Will you fit? Yes. Like again, I like diversity. I like different perspectives in the room. Lastly, can my employer pay? Absolutely. And so for this sort of cohort, most will. And if you need talking points or more information, just ask me and I'll send that over. And so in summary, it's a curated, vetted network that's meant to have personalized, timely, give you a personalized, timely experience, focused on action, focused on long-term relationships and access, and really meant to surface opportunities in the shifted, but continuously shifting world. So the last thing I'll say is that the future of the grid and the future of clean energy isn't a single breakthrough in one silo. It's really 1,000 of hopefully micro wins and ways that we move forward that are stitched together by people like you working on things at the right time, right? Working on the right opportunities at the right time. And so personally, I really don't know. I mean, I'm not even going to try to guess what the future holds, but I'm trying to do my best alongside everyone in this cohort to really try to turn uncertain times into some serious concrete wins and serious concrete momentum that we can push forward on together. And so if any of this resonates with you, I would suggest learning more on our website, learning more in our document about the specific cohort, applying, and lastly, referring people, sharing this with people that you think belong in the room would elevate the room in some way, right? And I really build this with members who have committed to doing this. And I build this with the people that you think should also be in the room alongside you and that you want in the room, right? The types of people or the specific people. And so please share this wide. Let me know if there are people that you refer, especially as you start the application process and go through that. And finally, I think, the question mark is what can we build together? And I'm really excited to see what comes of this. Thank you.